Good morning. My name is Umar Shankar. I have 25 years experience in software design and development. I worked in C and CPP around 15 years. Worked in Excel programming around 15 years. I worked in C along with the SQL and PHP along with the SQL around 15 years ago. I worked as a project manager around 12 years. I worked in many MNCs. I worked in Tata Alexi, Mindtree, Emphasis, and Arisen. I was working as a project manager around 12 years. So I completed my engineering in 1994. I got my PMP certificate in 2009. Then I completed my MBA in 2013. That's all about my introduction. So first thing is you need to understand what is the SQL. Why do you want to learn SQL? The SQL is one of the language to interact with the database. Suppose we are creating some application through PHP or Python or Java or CRC. You want to interact the database, then you need to use SQL query inside your language. Suppose I develop one application using Python. Inside the Python I need to use SQL query to interact the database. Then in analytical industry, the sequence of learning is SQL. Using SQL, we can extract the data from data term. Once get the data, we need to clean up the data. For clean up, we can use Excel. The Excel is one of the best tool for clean up your data. Either we can use formula or functions, or we can use VBA automation. Using that, we can clean up your data. Once clean your data, then we can use R or Python. For preparing the data, then again we can visualize the data. So once data is prepared, then you want to visualize. For that you can use Tableau or Power BI also for visualization. You get more clarity in the graphs and all. This is a sequence of learn SQL, then Excel, R or Python, again Tableau, Power BI. This is a sequence of learn in analytical. In the SQL, what are the topics I'm going to cover? Is the topics. It is divided into 6 sessions. The first session we are going to learn all basic SQL. It means creating your skeleton. So for creating database, there will be tables, there views. Then once create your tables and database, then inside we need to insert the data. For that you can use insert. Then again you want to retrieve the data. For that you can use select. Then you want to modify, you can use update. Then you want to remove the data from table, then you have to use delete. The next session we have some ready-made data sets. So customer data sets we have. That there are around 18,000 records. Using that we are writing some select query, different type of select query to retrieve the data from tables. The next is I want to get the group thing. It means suppose I want to see the data with the state-wise total purchase, country-wise total purchase, or city-wise total purchase. For that we need to use group by. The next is I need to organize the data in the ascending order. Suppose in case of text data, ascending to A to Z or Z to A. For that you can use order by. The same order by you can use to sort the data, numerical data. Lowest to highest or highest to lowest. For that you can use order by class. The next is limit. Suppose I want to get top 10 or bottom 10 or middle records. For that I can use limit. The next is you want to combine n number of tables together and retrieve the information. For that you can use union node, and join, also subquery. The next is constraints. Constraint means anything restricting your data. It means data entry restriction. For that you can use constraint like a null, not null. So null means suppose you are entering some data like a person address. In that case, pin code is not mandatory. In that case, we can skip the pin code. For that we have to use null. Suppose you want mandatory to enter the data. For that we have to use not null. The next concern is primary key. Primary key is a constraint. Make sure that each and every record must be unique. It will not allow duplicate. The next is particular field you want to make it unique. For that you have to use unique key. Then again you want to use some default value. Suppose I'm entering some data, it will accept it. Suppose I don't enter the data, in that case it takes the default value. For that default constraint. The last is check constraint. During inserting your records, it will be very valid to your data. If it is valid data, then be accepting, otherwise. That's the check constraint. The next is entity relationship. Entity is nothing but a tables. Suppose I have n number of tables, I want to make relationship each among the tables. For that I will use entity relationship. In any database, there are three types of relationship. One is one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. The next is table normalization. Normalization is nothing but reducing the size, storage size, then again getting maximum output for normalization. The last topic is store procedure, then trigger. Store procedure is nothing but a function. Inside that we can write a number of statements, also we can write queries. This is the procedure always stored in the database itself so that performance will be very fast. So instead of writing query every time, we can simply use the store procedure. It will become very fast because it is stored inside the database itself. The next is trigger. When you insert some record in our particular table, automatically want to insert some record in another table. For that we have to use trigger. The last is table partition. So table partition means we can divide the table into a number of partition. Like this, suppose I have a table, student marks table. In that I want to insert marks which are greater than 90 in this quadrant. The marks which are greater than 75 and less than 90 will go in this quadrant. Then it is marks greater than 50 and less than 75 will go this quadrand. Again marks which are less than 50 will go to this quadrant. The advantage of using the partition is storage become very fast, again retrieval become very fast, because in the normal table, the unpartitioned table, suppose I want to look at all the students who got mark 90, greater than 90. In the case what happened, in the unpartitioned table, it will looking the data from first record to till last record. It takes more and more time. Instead of that, if we do partition like this, suppose I want to get all the student mark who got mark greater than 90, so it will go simply this particular partition and get the result very fast. That's the advantage of using partition. So these are the agenda for this 6-day session. So next is we should understand the difference between data, information, and report. In a English language, data and information both are interchangeable, but in technology both are different. So data is nothing but a raw fact which we are observing, that is called data. So using data we cannot do anything unless we are manipulating the data. Manipulation means using the data we can do some kind of calculation, that's called manipulation. Once you do the calculation you get some result, that is your information. Suppose in case of construction, the laborers are laying the road. Again, so the total laid road is 10 meter. The next is that is your data. Next I want to do some kind of get some information. Further I can say the number of layers laid this 1 meter. So 10 meter. So 10 divided by 10 meter divided by number of laborers. That gives a result, that is your information. Manipulated data is called information. The next is report. Using information we can create a table or we can create a graphs for visualization, that is your report. For data we use SQL. So from data term we can extract the data whatever we want. Then again we convert it to information. For that we can use R programming or Python programming. For clean up the data we can use Excel. Then for making reports, graphs and tables we can use R and Python. For visualization we can use Power BI or Tableau. It's a sequence of learning. SQL, Excel, Python or R, then again Tableau or BI. The next is some terminology we have to understand that according to the database. First thing is, what is database? It's a collection of information in an organized format, that is called database. So once make it organized format, then we can access the data, we can modify the data, we can delete the data. Next is relational database. Relational database is nothing but a database only, but here data will be stored in the form of logical tables, in number of logical tables. If you want to get the information from all the tables, we have to make a relationship, then we can retrieve the data. The next is DBMS, Database Management System. Database Management System is a software that organizes the data on the backend. That's called DBMS. Example is Foxconn. The next is RDBMS. RDBMS is nothing but DBMS, but here each and every tables we are making some relationship. That's a relational database management. The example, MS Access from Microsoft, MySQL from Oracle company, then again my MS SQL from Microsoft, again Oracle. So what is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS? In case of DBMS, data will be stored in the form of file. In case of RDBMS, data will be stored in the form of logical table. Here everything stored in the form of file, there is no relationship concept here. But in case of RDBMS, we have a number of tables, so we can make a relationship among the tables. In case of DBMS, it supports only single concurrent user. Only one user at a time can interact with the database. But in case of RDBMS, n number of concurrent users can connect to the server. So here all stored in the form of file. So normalization process cannot be done using DBMS. In case of RDBMS, we can do normalization. In case of DBMS, everything it as file format, but here everything it as logical tables. So in case of DBMS, the concurrent user is only one. So low configuration software is more than software and hardware is more than enough. Like a system with the Pentium 2 processor with the 64 MB RAM, that is more than enough for running the low-end DBMS software. But in case of RDBMS, we need dedicated system with the 12-core processor, again 12 GB RAM is required. So these are the popular database available in the market. First is Oracle. So Oracle, they have two versions. One is Express Edition and there is Commercial Edition. The Express Edition only for learning purpose. Commercial Edition for real-time use. MySQL, again we have two versions. One is Commercial Edition and another is Commercial Edition. MS SQL again Express Edition and Commercial Edition. The Express Edition only for free. They are giving freely for learning purpose, like a training and other purpose. MS Access, lightweight database. In case of MS Access, the concurrent user is only 2 to 5 user. For MS Access, separate license is not required. Once purchase license for MS Office, then MS Access will come along with this. PostgreSQL, it's an open source database. We can use for commercial also. We can use for Postgres. Next is IBM DB2, which is for commercial purpose. So database server, how it's working is the client server model. Client means any software will get the request from the server, that is called client. Again, server means any software which responds to the client, that is called server. So database client could be command line version or JB based. Command line means everything will type in the command line format, or JB means in case button and other thing implicate you can use. In case of client, we have Firefox, Chrome, you can use it, or you can use mobile app. All mobile app is called client, database client. Any server which is respond back, that is called server. Next is ODBC, JDBC. So ODBC means Open Database Connectivity. Then JDBC means Java Database Connectivity. These are intermediate software that providing API. API means Application Programming Interface to connect the system. Suppose I create one application in C programming or CPP or Java. Then I want to interact with the database. Then I need to connect through API. So inside the C programming, I have to use the API to connect to the database. Whether you can use ODBC or JDBC, most of the OS already contain ODBC and JDBC, not required to install separate. So next is we have terminology. It's a common for all the database. So first thing is we need to understand database. Database, already we know that database is a collection of data in organized format. That's called database. So inside the database we have table. The collection of table is called database. Then again, collection of record is called table. Then collection of fields are called So you can see this is one table. So here you can see that all IDs, all student IDs, all student ID 1, 2, 3. This is called field, single field. Field is nothing but a single piece of information about all the record. That's called field. Again, you can see this is called name field. This is a location field. This is a pin code. Next is collection of fields like your ID, the name, the location, and pin code. These all together called record. Called record. Again, collection of n number of records. This is called tables. This all together called. So fields is a single piece of information. Again, collection of n number of fields forming records. Again, collection of record called table. Again, collection of tables called database. Like a student management system, we have student table, teacher table, parent table, city table, then subject table. This all together called database. Database is a collection of tables. Next is SQL. SQL is an abbreviation, structure query language. Also we call as SQL. So structure query language is a language for interacting with the database. Any application want to interact with the database, we need to write SQL query inside the program. So again, SQL is case insensitive. It means we can write full caps or full small letters or mixed. It works perfectly without any issue. Then every SQL you must end with the semicolon. Then again, maximum length of query. Length means number of characters in a single query is 65536. The next is SQL alone we cannot use it. SQL we have to use along with some other language. Like suppose I am developing some application using C programming or Python. Inside C or Python we have to use SQL query. That's all about today's lesson. Thank you for joining.